The NBA is the most elite professional basketball league in the world. Founded in 1946, the 30-team league has featured thousands of incredible moments and top-notch athletic performances over its many decades. Trying to reduce hours of play to a list of just 10 of the NBA's most significant games is an almost impossible task, as it's mostly subjective. That being said, we've compiled some of the best 10 plays that we couldn't let their fans' eyes off of them. Let's move forward with the video and have a look at the top 10 best legendary plays that can never be forgotten. So, let's begin. But before we proceed further, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do hit the subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any future NBA content. Number 10. 2013 NBA Finals, Game 6, Miami Heat vs. San Antonio Spurs. In 2013, the Miami Heat, led by LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, would advance to the NBA Finals once again, looking to become the 6th team to go back-to-back. The year prior, the Big Three took down Oklahoma City Thunder in 5 games to give James his first title, and the franchise its second. However, late in Game 6 of 2013 Finals, repeating as champions seemed extremely unlikely. The Spurs were up 3 games to Miami's 2, and entered the fourth quarter up 10, 75-65. LeBron fueled a 27 Heat run, giving his squad a 3-point lead with only 2 minutes to play. Miami's lead was short-lived. After a LeBron James turnover and a Manu Ginobili free throw, San Antonio was up 94-89, with only 28 seconds remaining. Following some quick possessions, the Heat had one more chance to tie the game, down only 3 points. LeBron came down to take the last shot, but his jumper was short. The ball careened off the hoop and found Chris Bosh in the lane for a rebound. He immediately redirected the basketball to Ray Allen, who was backpedaling to the corner. The veteran marksman caught the pass, looked down to check that his toes were behind the 3-point line, and let off a patented Ray Allen rainbow from the corner. He switched the clutch game-tying shot, pushing the contest to overtime. Miami gutted it out in OT, pulling ahead 103-100 and forcing Game 7. Number 9. 1997 NBA Finals, Game 5, Chicago Bulls vs. Utah Jazz. Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals has forever been immortalized in basketball history as Michael Jordan's legendary flu game. At 2 a.m. on the morning before the contest, MJ called his personal trainer to report that he'd been stuck in the fetal position, drenched in sweat, and was barely able to get out of bed. The team trainers didn't think that there was any way he'd be able to compete. This was particularly terrible news for the Bulls, who lost the past 2 games, tying the series 2-2. Jordan spent one day resting up and willed himself to the stadium on Wednesday night, just before tip-off. However, he was still extremely sick and running a temperature. MJ was noticeably ailing to start the contest, but gradually caught back up to speed as the action progressed. Utah was ahead most of the game, including an 8-point lead that they built in the third, and Michael relegated to the bench. The fourth quarter is when Jordan's heroics once again took over. He scored 15 points in the quarter, reducing the deficit to a single score with 46 seconds remaining. The most dramatic moment in the game came with 25 seconds left to play, when MJ hit a massive 3-pointer to give Chicago the 88-85 lead. After trading a couple of baskets, the Bulls held on to steal the win, with Jordan collapsing into Scottie Pippen's arms at the final horn, one of the NBA's all-time iconic pictures. Number 8. NBA Finals, Game 7, Cleveland Cavaliers vs. Golden State Warriors. After winning the title in 2015, Steve Kerr's squad became an unstoppable machine of off-ball motion and 3-point shooting. They finished the regular season with the best win-loss record of all time, notching 73 wins and only 9 losses. Additionally, Steph Curry was named the NBA's most valuable player, as out the league's highest-scoring front-court duo, alongside fellow Splash brother Klay Thompson. The 2016 NBA Finals pitted the defending champs against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the same team that they beat the year prior. This time, however, the Cavs had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love healthy and available. The Warriors built a 3-1 series lead before Cleveland clawed back consecutive wins to force a Game 7. This was a rare feat, as the Warriors hardly lost 2 in a row. The final contest took place at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. Golden State went to at halftime with a 7-point lead, but the Cavaliers exploded in the second half. Over the final 2 quarters of the 2016 season, LeBron's team outscored the 73-win franchise 51-40. The biggest contributing factor was Cleveland's lockdown defense, punctuated by James's unbelievable chase-down block on Andre Iguodala. Perhaps the most stunning shot of the night came from Kyrie Irving, who drilled a deep three-pointer over Steph Curry, giving his squad a 92-89 lead with less than a minute on the clock. Next, Kevin Love defended Curry brilliantly after being switched onto the superstar guard on the perimeter, forcing a miss. Cleveland held on to the lead, completing a massive comeback series upset and earning King James his most impressive championship. Number 7. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 6, Miami Heat vs. Boston Celtics. Sometimes, the historical significance of the moment outweighs the competitiveness. In 2012, LeBron James had yet to win his first championship, with some of his greatest disappointments coming at the hands of Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce's veteran Boston Celtics. When Boston took Game 5 on the road in Miami, the media once again obsessed over James's inability to get over the hump and win it all. With Game 6 being played on the Celtics' home floor, few pundits expected the series to return to Cleveland. The LeBron James that showed up on the court at tip-off was unlike anything the world has ever seen up to that point. His facial expression never changed. He showed no emotion, but was a stone-cold killer from the jump. King James was completely unstoppable, wrecking the Celtics and notching 45 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists, route to a 98-79 blowout win. The Heat forced the Game 7 back in Miami, where the Big Three dominated their Boston rivals once again, sending them to the NBA Finals. Number 6. NBA Finals, Game 6, Los Angeles Lakers vs. Boston Celtics. When the Lakers and Celtics met in the 1985 NBA Finals, it was their 8th time competing against each other for the championship. Boston had emerged victorious on all 8 occasions. Nevertheless, LA entered Game 6 up 3-2 in the series, giving the franchise its best chance to defeat their longtime nemesis. In the finals, they met the Celtics squad dominated by Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge, and Robert Parrish. Game 6 was tied at the half, but the Lakers exploded out of the break to have that monumental third quarter. LA outscored their opponents 27-18 over that stretch, a lead that they never gave back. Kareem and James Worthy finished the contest with 29 and 28 points respectively, while Magic led the Lakers with 14 assists. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was named Finals MVP after averaging 25.7 points, 9 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 1.5 blocks over the 6-game series. Magic Johnson was equally impressive, averaging 18.3 points, 14 assists, and 6.8 rebounds per game. Keep yourself tuned in as we discover 5 more amazing games with you all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do it now in order to make sure that you don't miss out on any future NBA content from now on. Number 5. NBA Finals Game 4, Boston Celtics vs. Los Angeles Lakers. Boston general manager Danny Ainge went all in during the 2007-2008 offseason, trading for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen from the Timberwolves and Supersonics respectively. The Celtics' new Big Three entered the postseason as the top seed in the East. Their historical rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers, had the best record in the West. The 2 legendary franchises met in the NBA Finals for the 11th time in NBA history. The Celtics won their opening games at home before dropping Game 3 at the Staples Centers in LA. Game 4 would either lock up the series at 2-2 or give Boston an almost unsurmountable 3-1 lead. Kobe's Lakers smashed the Big Three in the first quarter, establishing a 35-14 advantage early. The second quarter was more competitive, but the home team maintained their lead. By the third quarter, Los Angeles was able to pull away by 24 points and appeared to be coasting to a massive victory. That's when Celtics seemingly flipped a switch. Number 4. Western Conference Semifinals, Game 5, Los Angeles Lakers vs. San Antonio Spurs. Of all the NBA's greatest games, 2004's matchup between the Los Angeles Lakers and San Antonio Spurs is the only one to happen earlier than the conference final rounds. This Western Conference Semifinals was different, however, pitting the 2 franchises responsible for the 5 previous NBA championships against each other. This series saw Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, LA Lakers, competing against Greg Popovich's prime Spurs, led by Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Bruce Bowen, and Manu Ginobili. Coming into Game 5, The home team had triumphed in each of the first 4 contests, leaving the series tied at 2 games apiece. It was the final few possessions of the contest that made this game an instant classic. The Lakers held a 2-point lead, with the Spurs inbounding the ball for what was expected to be the last shot of the night. Tim Duncan received the pass and launched a 20-foot jumper over Shaq to put San Antonio up by 1. However, there was still 0.4 seconds left on the clock. Los Angeles wouldn't have time to do much more than a tip-in or immediate shot upon putting the basketball into play. With the defense keyed in on Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher curled into opening by the elbow, caught the pass, turned, and released the ball before the buzzer. He made it, resulting in one of the least likely walk-off playoff victories of all time. Number 3. NBA Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5. Boston Celtics vs. Detroit Pistons. Down 1 in the waning moments of the game, Larry Bird drove to the basket but was blocked at the rim by a swarm of Pistons defenders. The ball was subsequently knocked out of bounds, and while it looked like Detroit touched it last, they were awarded possession with only 5 seconds remaining in regulation. The win seemed like a sealed deal for the Pistons, who just needed to inbound the ball and run out of time. Unbelievably, Larry Bird flew through the lane to intercept Isaiah Thomas's pass out of nowhere. He immediately dumped the ball off to Dennis Johnson, who was cutting towards the basket. Johnson finished the layup, stealing the win for the Celtics as time expired. Boston needed 7 games to finish off Detroit before meeting the LA Lakers in the NBA Finals. The Celtics lost to their heated rivals in 6 games. Number 2. NBA Finals, Game 6. Chicago Bulls vs. Utah Jazz. In their prior encounter, the Jazz fell victim to Michael Jordan's iconic flu game on the way to the 4-2 series defeat. Now, Karl Malone and John Stockton would get their shot at revenge. Utah was coming to the finals confident after sweeping the regular series against MJ's Bulls, but found themselves down 3 games to 2, heading into Game 6. Nevertheless, the Jazz had to have liked their chances after Scottie Pippen injured his back during the opening play of the game, hampering the All-Star small forward for the entire contest. Michael Jordan and Karl Malone each dominated for their respective teams. Jordan put up 45 points in 44 minutes of playing time, while Malone scored 31 points, to go along with 11 rebounds and 7 assists in 43 minutes of his own. Utah had possession of the ball and fed it to the post for Malone to close the game. However, Michael Jordan ripped the power forward, forcing a turnover. The GOAT advanced the ball up the court, performed a crossover on a defending Brian Russell, and rose up for a spectacular 20-footer to give Chicago the go-ahead score with 5 seconds left. The Jazz couldn't convert their last-second attempt, giving the Bulls their second three-peat. Number 1. NBA Finals, Game 1. Philadelphia 76ers vs. the Los Angeles Lakers. To understand how a Game 1 can be included in the greatest NBA games of all time, you have to appreciate how dominant the 2001 Los Angeles Lakers were. LA entered the season as the defending champs, with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant both in their respective primes. Sure, the Lakers started the year slow, as Shaq gradually played his way into the shape. But by playoff time, they were firing on all cylinders version. Didn't get the memo, and was an absolute force of nature in Game 1. He scored 30 in the first half, and the 76ers built a 15-point lead midway through the third. Phil Jackson made the most significant adjustment of the series in the fourth quarter, when he inserted backup PG Tyronn Lue into the game to defend Allen Iverson. His pronounced speed advantage over Derek Fisher made him the better option to contain the high-volume scorer. That said, the enduring vision of the series is Iverson draining a step-back jumper over Lue, who fell closing out on the shot. As the ball fell through the rim, Al stepped over his defender as disrespectfully as possible, giving NBA fans a clip for the ages. Philadelphia closed out the upset win in overtime, finishing 107-101. However, it was their only win of the series. Los Angeles took the next 4 consecutively, earning their second title in as many years. So, according to you, which play is the most legendary of all time? Let us know your answers in the comment section down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thumbs up if you liked it, and do hit the subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any interesting videos from now on.